ChristianCigarSmoker.com. Well, welcome and hello, everybody. Welcome to the first ever Christian Cigar Smoker podcast. I am one of your co-hosts, Doug Goodman, also known on ChristianCigarSmoker.com as Pastor Smokey, and I get to be here today with my good friend, El Jefe.
I'm El Jefe on the website and in the videos. In real life, my name is Paul Redwine.
Yep.
And I'm here to help you. It's kind of my tagline, man.
Yeah, he is here to help us, and he's going to give you his help whether you want it or not.
I've helped you a lot.
I don't know if I don't want to admit this on camera, but maybe you have.
You've helped me sometimes too.
All right, well then I guess I can admit that you've helped me as well.
We help each other.
Yeah, we do our best. That's what we're here to do with Christian Cigar Smokers, help one another. And we recently had a great opportunity. The two of us went down with another one of our friends and contributors on the website, Cigar Benji, Ben Bolser, and we got to go down to Ybor City, just outside of Tampa, Florida.
It's a lot of fun.
It was.
Except Cigar Benji couldn't shut up.
Yeah, well, there's...
That's why we wouldn't let him on this video, because he just won't stop talking. But
the whole time,
anyway,
yeah.
You see him in the videos. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you're going to see that in a bit, which is what I was about to say, is we actually brought back for you guys some really cool clips, some histories, all kinds of good stuff, because Ybor City historically has been the cigar capital of the world. And though it's been through some ups and downs, there's some real beauty still there and some awesome things for anybody who is a passionate cigar smoker. So coming up, you're going to see a tour of the Ybor Strip, a history of what went on down there, as well as some adventures you don't want to miss. El Jefe here does go on an epic rooster hunt, so stay tuned for that. We won't tell you whether it was successful or not, but you will see.
But it was.
But it was. And in addition to that, he's also going to give us some Spanish lessons. So in case you failed Spanish, you probably still will. But they're helpful nonetheless. And finally, we want to let you guys know, stay tuned to the end, because we've got one story we want to tell you at the end that I think is really a genuine heart that exemplifies what it is we are all about here at ChristianCigarSmoker.com. And it's called Eric's Story. And if Eric is watching, he knows exactly why we called it Eric's Story.
Hey, Eric.
So yeah, if you're watching, Eric, hey, hello, hope you're doing well. Guys, I really hope you enjoy this special. We will throw in this little caveat that I think most of these podcasts moving forward, we're going to design them so that you can listen audio only, and it'll be great. This one is more of a video, so we're hoping you get a chance to watch this on YouTube or anywhere else through the website. So, guys, thanks for joining us, and we hope you enjoy. Okay, guys, welcome. Pastor Smokey here, and we wanted to give you guys a quick tour of Ybor down the main Ybor Strip in case you guys ever get a chance to come visit this cigar mecca. Just behind me, other than Cigar Benji, we've got the Columbia restaurant. Interesting place, kind of the start. We're going to move east to west, because why not go west? And it kind of starts here with the Columbia restaurant. And the Columbia is the oldest restaurant in Florida. It is the largest Spanish and Latino restaurant in America, and it's the first building in Florida to have air conditioning, which was put in during the Great Depression. It actually sits 1,700 people when fully loaded, and there's no COVID going on. So the strip kind of starts here at the Columbia. There's also Tampero behind me. That is a retail shop, not a full lounge, but with a good size selection. So we'll keep on moving here. Okay, guys, so our first stop as we move down from the Columbia is here at Metropolitan Cigars. Metropolitan is not yet a lounge, just a retail store, but decent selection, very fair pricing, particularly on the Fuentes. All right, guys, stop number 3, and this is our first lounge, and we're starting it off with a bang because this is Long Ash, and Long Ash is our top-rated lounge on the Strip by Christian Cigar Smoker. In fact, it's the only lounge on the Strip that reached our gold star rating of 3.5 or above. Now this particular lounge has got a roller's desk in front, it's got a full service bar, an extremely knowledgeable staff. It is a boutique, or at least it's 95% boutique. They do keep some acids out in the back, but that's just to distract the frat boys who are there for a bachelor party, who think that it's cool but don't really want to smoke anything, and so they distract them with the acids while everybody else enjoys a good cigar. They've got a nice full lineup, as I said, a great staff, great bar, great atmosphere, and a cool visual of the aging room up above. You can check out the full review at ChristianCigarSmoker.com, as you can with all of the lounges to come. Okay guys, the next stop as we moved west is Nica Habana. Nica Habana is a great boutique, smaller shop, good selection, good coffee bar inside. El Jefe really likes that one. It gets a Christian Cigar Smoker rating of a 2.5. Let's keep on going. All right guys, for our next stop, we are here at Tabanero. It's a boutique that carries their own line. This is a great little lounge. Wonderful, super knowledgeable staff. In fact, their staff was going to be giving us a history of Ybor City that is excellent, coming up in just a little bit. It is a 3.0 lounge on Christian Cigar Smoker. Coffee shop inside. This is more of your daytime hangout. Wonderful furniture, very comfortable, and it's got Cigar Benji's favorite cigar right there behind me. All right guys, as we get down here near the other end of the Ybor strip, behind me is King Corona. This happens to be the largest lounge that's on the Ybor strip. It's a large spot inside, both in the number of cigars it has as well as the seating space, good furniture. It's not a boutique lounge, it is a full retail style lounge. They also have a full service bar and even some food, as well as nice outdoor seating, particularly for those who like to enjoy and people watch on the strip in the evenings. We've done that already. It's great. Another great thing about this location is that our very next location does not actually require us to go anywhere. In fact, I just spin around here and you see behind me La Furona is the next lounge, and this one is probably the smallest one that can actually be called a lounge that's on the strip. Most of the seating is the few seats right out front, but it's a wonderful boutique. It is run by a woman who does the rolling and the fillers and everything herself. She's the blender. She's been rolling for 33 years and just immigrated to the United States about 10 years ago. So this is a cool spot to check out. The King Corona received a 3.0 on our CCS scale. Now, La Farina is only, I believe, at a 1.5, but I want to put a little caveat in here for this one because this is grading it as a lounge. As a boutique shop, it would score much higher, so don't skip it on your tour because of that grade. It's still well worth a stop in. All right, let's complete our tour. Well, guys, this is the end of our walk down the Ybor strip. Now, it's far from the end of our episode, and it's not even the end of the cigar locations we have for you on this trip. We've got some sites off the strip we'll continue to show you as we continue. Hope you've, though, enjoyed this quick look down some of these great hot spots. Just the few we highlighted are excellent and worth a trip all on their own.
Hey, ChristianCigarSmoker.com is in Tampa, Florida. That's in the United States of America, down in the southeast corner of the United States. Now, we are in a district called Ybor City. It's a very nice place, and it's really well known for its cigars. Pastor Smokey's going to do his documentary on cigars in Ybor City. The main reason for that is he got first dibs on it, so we got stuck with the rest here. Now, I'm with Cigar Benji here, and we're going to go on a different type of tour. I'm El Jefe, and I'm here to help you. You're going to learn a lot of really neat things from me. I'm a very informative, educated, and humble person. I've got my sidekick here, Cigar Benji, and what we're doing is we're looking, first of all, I want to call your attention to this mural here. You have this rooster, which is, you have this rooster here, which is a very indicative of Ybor. There are roosters running around Ybor. Now, legend has it, if you catch a rooster in Ybor and you pluck a tail, or pluck a what's that called, a feather. If you pluck a tail feather off of it, in Ybor City, has to be a rooster in Ybor City, good fortune will follow you every single time you smoke a cigar. Legend also has it that if you catch a rooster in Ybor City and you take that rooster and you chop it up into several pieces and toss it into a fryer, you'll have some really good fried chicken to eat. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go on a tour of Ybor City, and we're going to show you some of the non-cigar things. It's going to be very interesting. For example, one of the things we're going to visit is a convenience store known as 7-Eleven. We're going to see that, and we're just going to do some things that are just going to be totally mind-blowing to you. Now, I don't mean mind-blowing in the sense of, sticking a shotgun in your mouth and blowing out your brains, but I mean mind-blowing in a very good way. But one thing I am going to tell you right now, I'm going to catch a rooster. I'm going to catch a rooster today, and good fortune's going to follow me all the rest of the days of my life. Let's go together. Let's go on this tour. Pastor Smokey, I like the guy and everything. I mean, he's a great guy, but he is a millennial. I really think he just takes things too seriously. I mean, yeah, he's going to go around and talk about the statues and the history and everything. It's kind of a show off, but just let him do his thing. But that's all I'm saying.
All right, guys, I'm back. Pastor Smokey with you, and we are here in the center of the Ybor Strip. Behind me is a statue of Vincent Martinez Ybor, and he is the founder of this great city. A man who started with 40 acres, who would build the cigar capital of the world. And there is an absolutely fascinating history to this city. A history that there are those here locally who can tell much better than me. So we have a special interview to show you next with one of the men, Stephen, who works across the street at Tabanero, who is an expert in the history of this city.
Well, welcome to Casa Tabanero. The term Tabanero means a man from Cuba living in Tampa. And the label on the cigars here is Maceda, which is the proprietor, Yanko Maceda, his last name. So you're in his house, and the cigars are named after his last name. And so we were discussing the origins of this city. And in the mid-1880s, Don Vicente Martinez Ybor will arrive here, looking to relocate his cigar factory from Key West for multiple reasons, but to build a city, what's commonly known as a factory town like Hershey, Pennsylvania. One city, one industry. And he'll be responsible for not just relocating his factory, but ultimately a total of 252 handmade cigar factories. They'll be spread between his initial 40-acre city as well as what is an unincorporated wilderness that will become known as West Tampa. A daily production of cigars, 6 days a week, 1 million a day. And during what is known as the heyday of Ybor, pre-World War I to the mid-1920s, the annual production of cigars, 700 to 750 million. And so for 50 years, Mr. Ybor City will reign as the cigar capital of the world. And during the Depression, we have the advent of the machine making of cigars. Like dominoes falling, those handmade factories will begin to close, the population thins out, people have to move to find work in other locations. The machine takes over. Ybor slowly is becoming a boarded up ghost town. The final nail in the coffin of his city is going to be the embargo against Cuba, which takes place in the month of February in the year 1962. After the President of the United States, John Kennedy, obtains 1,200 of his favorite Cuban cigars, he will sign the embargo order against Cuba. And back in those days, the only tobacco used to make the cigars was Cuban tobacco. And so Ybor City shuts down. It is truly a boarded up ghost town. In the late 1980s, urban renewal. A lot of that federal money to tear down the decaying inner cities throughout this country, well, that money comes with bulldozers, and a lot of his city is bulldozed into the pages of history. His magnificent mansion and 20-acre compound lies under Interstate 4 because we did not become a National Historic District technically until 1980. And so now almost 1,000 buildings here are historically registered. The city is preserved, but so much of his original city has been lost. And so Ybor is slowly on its way back. The cigar industry is holding on, but mainly through what are known as chinchaos, boutique factories such as ours. And so we hold on to the heritage of this city with the design to bring the handmade cigar back to preeminence once again to Mr. Ybor's city. I hope that gives you a quick capsule of what Ybor City is all about. Thank you.
I also love the fiery dragon there. And fire that up for, yeah, it's a cool way.
That's how we like the cigars.
There you go.
Okay, I'm going to teach you some Spanish. Hecho a mano. In Mexican, this word means handshake. Okay, like you go up and you shake a hand. You really don't need a translation for that. Some things are just obvious. It's a. So that's handshake. Mano is the Mexican word for man. So in Ybor City, what you want to do when you see another person, you do what's obvious. You shake the hand of a man, just like that. Hecho a mano. Now, over here, you have this word tabanero. Now, let's start at the back side. The Nero is the Mexican word for Nero, as in the emperor. Taba means to tackle. So what this the word means is to tackle a bad guy. So just like I said, you know, when you come to hecho a mano, shake a man's hand, if you see someone bad, this is like the word for me that means, you know, hurt them, you know. So there's your first Spanish lesson of the day. Let's move on here.
Hey, Benji. So, I've been thinking about this, and you know I love El Jefe. But, I mean, for a guy his age, you think he could take things a little more seriously. It's like he doesn't even love cigars. I mean, I don't know. That, again, I love him, but, you know, that's all I'm saying.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We have a distinct privilege today as we get to join El Jefe, the magnificent hunter, as he stalks his Ybor rooster prey, hoping to find, catch, and pluck a rooster so as to gain great and unending cigar luck. Though not his native habitat, El Jefe has taken to this setting quickly, and the stealthy hunter hopes to find the rooster that will change his fortunes forever. Will he find that rooster? We will find out. He is quick to pursue, but this may take some time, so we will join Cigar Benji for a brief moment.
Man, if I don't catch a rooster, man, I'm going to eat some chicken, whether or not, if if I could just find a place that serves some chicken, that would be a really good thing here. I mean, they have empanadas and things like that.
El Jefe has begun a new approach. He's trying to draw the rooster from the bushes. He seems to be rethinking his approach. Where can he go next? Will the rooster be captured? We will find out. The nonchalant walk. Will it draw the rooster from its hiding place? He pounces! The speed of the rooster! This is the stance of an El Jefe who has just failed to capture his prey. Will he attempt another run? Or was that the last we will see of this epic hunt?
As we rejoin the hunt, we seem to have found the epicenter of rooster activity. I cannot wait to see what our grand hunter will do. He certainly has great plans to employ his prodigious skill and patience and fortitude to capture these roosters that... Wait, what is he doing? Is he... Oh no. Oh, you can't be serious. After all this? Really? Oh, brother.
Well, I did it. I got the feather of a rooster in Ybor City. Now that means that every time I smoke a cigar, it's going to be a very prosperous, very productive, and a delicious cigar. Now, technically, I didn't catch the rooster and, pluck it myself. So maybe the fortune wouldn't be, quite as great. But I did it. I got the feather. Again, I'm El Jefe, and I'm here to help you. So I was talking to Steve. Apparently, roosters are protected. You can't chase them. You can't harass them. I mean, you can go to any chicken place around here and eat it. Do they not harass or chase or, go after these protected roosters and chickens and all that and just, pluck the feathers out of them and chop their heads off and toss them in a fryer and feed them to us? I'm just saying, protected? Come on, it doesn't make any sense. That's all I'm saying here.
All right, guys, we are now off-site, a little ways away from Ybor, more into the greater Tampa area, and I am standing out front of the Casa de Monte Cristo. This is a nice lounge. We've visited several off-site. We're only going to highlight two of them here for you. This is one of them. It is a solid 3.0 on the Christian Cigar rating, and a great humidor, very large, excellent selection, decent prices in there too. So I just wanted to quickly let you know about this one, and next we're going to head off to a really epic lounge over at the Davidoff Lounge. Don't miss it. All right, guys, this is our last stop on the tour, and so we're capping it off with some great sticks. I got the Black Diamond from Diamond Crown going, and Cigar Benji and El Jefe are with me, and they are both rocking a Julius Caesar. We're at the Davidoff Lounge. This definitely is going to get our top rating definitely can check out the lounge review for here.
It's not Ybor,
yeah, we're not in Ybor, we're in Tampa, but it's a heck of a lounge. Massive humidor. Whole place is a humidor, actually. Some cutbacks with the air quality when that happens, but certainly some benefits from the total stock of cigars they've got there. Very reasonable pricing from what I was expecting as well. Great full loaded bar. So we're just going to enjoy the rest of our evening while you enjoy the rest of this episode.
Cigar Benji, I'm here to help you. Just want to give you another cigar smoking tip. You know, first of all, I think you know this. You don't inhale a cigar. So never, you know that, right? So never forget that. But don't forget to exhale as well. Because if you just, that can get very uncomfortable. That's all I'm saying. Okay, as we continue on our tour of Ybor City, like I said, we're looking at some of the really great sites of the district. We're at the original 7-Eleven of Ybor City. Of course, when you think of Ybor City, what do you think about? You think about convenience stores like 7-Eleven. The way the story goes is the owner of 7-Eleven, when he first started, his first store that he started, he was only 7 years old when he started building the store, and he finished building the store when he was 11 years old. So obviously it took he was a kid, so it took him 6 years to build it. So you can go in here, you can buy a mask for the whole COVID thing. Cigar Benji bought a mask. It turns out that it was too small for his really big head, and his ears were sticking out and everything from the straps, so I bought it off of him, and so we're good to go now. We bought some hand sanitizer. You can go in here and you can buy some really great sticks like Swisher Sweets. Of course, I'm kidding, okay? Well, anyway, let me give you a Spanish lesson here. 7-Eleven, I'm going to teach you some numbers here. 7 in Spanish is ocho, and 11 is cincuenta. So ocho, cincuenta, 7-Eleven. There's some your second Spanish lesson for the day. Let's move on.
Hey Benji, you know how El Jefe loves his name, El Jefe, always acting tough with these big old cigars, big ring gauge, long sticks. He loves those pandemoniums he's always walking around with. I think it's all a facade. I think he's faking it. I walked in the other day, he's got some little like 28 ring gauge, 4.5 inch stick. Looked like he was in heaven, but he took one look at me, tried to hide the thing, pulled out some ridiculous like 770. Looked like a cartoon character. I mean, I don't know. I think maybe we need to start calling him La Jeferita. You know, I don't know. That's all I'm saying. Well, guys, welcome back to the Christian Cigar Smoker headquarters. As we're wrapping up here, I am wrapping up my Jacob's Ladder from Southern Draw, and I hope you've enjoyed our tour and fun down in Ybor as much as I've enjoyed this cigar. Always got good stuff from Southern Draw. But as we are finishing up, there's one last thing that we really wanted to share with you guys. It's a little bit of a shift for us, but you know, as we were down there, there's one thing we haven't really mentioned much yet. And it's something that happened to us while we were there, and we just really felt that this was such an exemplifying image of what we are all about here at Christian Cigar Smoker, and we really wanted to share this with you guys, and we were calling it Eric's Story, and it happened actually at Tabanero. And while we were there at Tabanero, I was actually talking to Steve, who gave us that great history of Ybor, and I was standing at the counter, and while I was there, a younger guy came walking in off the street,
And he started asking some questions. Steve asked how he could help him, and he said, I've never really smoked a cigar before. I'm just checking it out. And big props to Tabanero. What they did, what Steve said, is he goes, there's a bunch of great places all up and down and along here. Why don't you go check our place out, check some other places out, see what's around, and then if you'd like, come on back, and I got a stick for you that I think would be a good starter stick. And so he kind of walked off. I went back to sit down, and I was talking with El Jefe, Cigar Benji. We were just hanging out, and all of a sudden he came walking back in, and I leaned over to the guys and I said, hey, and I told him what I'd overheard. I said we should definitely invite him over, and he could smoke his first cigar with us. And first off, it's cool to see somebody smoking their first cigar there in Ybor. And so this young guy came and sat down and introduced himself, and so we're talking to Eric and getting to know him a little bit. And it wasn't long until we kind of shared why we were there, what we were doing, a little bit about Christian Cigar Smoker, and he kind of lit up and he was like, oh man, I really want to be counted in both those camps, both a cigar smoker and a Christian. And he began to share with us how he'd kind of been raised in the church, but had really been absent from it as of recently, and began to share more of his story. And it was an opportunity for us to fellowship around cigars and around our faith, and to share about the joy of Christ in a very unique way. And his story was incredible. This was a young man who'd recently moved from St. Louis. He was a guy who'd been raised in a rough neighborhood in the St. Louis area, come up in a single-parent household, and one of the reasons he was moving is because it hadn't been that long since his father had actually been murdered on the streets, and he said, I don't want to raise a family someplace like this. And so he moved. And in the process of his move, his girlfriend came with him. His girlfriend's daughter, who he was acting as a father to, came. But it wasn't too long after they'd relocated, he'd gotten a great job down there, that his girlfriend and her daughter moved back and left, and didn't leave in necessarily the best way. And he was really just kind of grieving, and he was searching, and he was just trying to find his place. And we were introducing him to something completely new. And he'd been going out and hanging out with people here and there, but he found in smoking cigars, and particularly in smoking cigars with guys who focused on a love of Christ, something that he hadn't really ever experienced before. He kept telling us, I've never really just sat here before. I've never really just hung out like this before, and had this kind of fun before. And as I got to talk to him, and at one point Cigar Benji and El Jefe even stood up and went for a little bit of a walk so he and I could just talk a little more in depth. And he just kept sharing, and what it was going on is this was a young man who was grieving, who was going through a lot, but really wanted to make it, wanted to do what he needed to do, had a great attitude. But when he would go out and have fun, he couldn't bring any of that grief with him, because it would ruin the vibe. It would destroy what they were there to do, and so it was just more of an escape. And with us, he could really sit down and he could actually talk about some of the difficult things he was going through. And it wasn't that we'd minimize it, and this is something that is a beauty that comes out of the truth of the gospel. The idea that the pain of this world that's caused by sin is real, and that we could sit there and look them in the eye and say that hurts, and that's, we're not going to minimize that. And yet we also want you to know we've got this deeper joy that's even greater than whatever pain you're going through. And it, I think, was just very refreshing for him. And he got to talk to us, and he visited a bunch of the cigar lounges with us that day. We went up to another place we didn't highlight called Cheney's that night, and just continued to talk with them. And with us, he could share what he was going through, but then a few minutes later we could be laughing. We didn't ignore what he was dealing with, but we also were able to give hope at the same time. And it was a beautiful example of the culture that you see at cigar lounges. And what's more, we kind of introduced him to just a landslide of cigar information. He loved to absorb it. And one of the things we told him is hey man, one, we would love for you to find a church. And the other thing is, if you're hanging out, come hang out at a place like a cigar lounge like this. There will be people around that will just talk to you. And what was really cool is the next day when you saw the brief bit there from the last couple cigar lounges we were at off-site, and in particular the Davidoff Lounge. He came and met us there, and one of the things he told us when he got there is he goes, "Hey guys, so this morning I actually stopped by a cigar lounge, and it was just like you said. We're just sitting there, and all of a sudden guys started talking to me, and we're like, yeah, that's the culture around cigars." And I think that's one of the reasons why when you mix cigar culture with the Christian faith, it's such a potent opportunity to share the hope of the gospel. And so we were sitting there, we were continuing to talk and just have a great time. We've even kept in touch with him a bit since the trip is over. And another thing he'd shared with us is the fact that one of the reasons he had such a positive view of Christianity is not only his involvement in the church as a young guy, but also that his mother had a very strong faith. And really kind of a capstone moment at the end of the trip is we were sitting outside the Davidoff Lounge, and he reached down on his phone and he just kind of was tapping a few buttons, and all of a sudden I heard him say, "Hey mama, I want you to meet my friends that I've been telling you about." And he turned the phone around, and he was just wanted to share with this woman who had been sort of the monument of faith in his life, that he'd met other men who shared that type of conviction, and he was excited to share that. And it was just cool to see that genuine excitement, and we really are wishing him well. We know he's going to land on his feet. He's such a hard worker, got such a good ethic. This was not a guy that was dramatizing things, but was just honest the whole time. And it was so cool to sit there and to have that fellowship and to share the beauty and the truth of the message of Christ all at the same time with somebody we hadn't met before. I actually got an opportunity to preach a sermon in which I actually shared a little bit of this story a week or so after we got back. And we were talking about the parable of the wedding banquet that appears in 2 points in the gospel, but we were focused on the telling out of Matthew, and one of the points I was making in that sermon was the fact that as Christians we're called to invite people into the kingdom of heaven, and part of that is that the kingdom of heaven is like a feast. It's like a wedding feast. It's like a party. It's a good thing, and it was such a joy not only for him, but it was a joy for us to share. And it was one of those experiences of sharing the gospel where it didn't feel any way like something we had to do. It just felt good to be able to share good news with somebody who wanted to hear it. And that's the type of thing you run into in cigar lounges. And his story is far from the first I've experienced in a cigar lounge. It's one of the reasons I love visiting lounges. Is it's such a great opportunity to share with people and to just and not even to just have an agenda of some kind to share the gospel, but genuinely just to get to know people and build relationships. And that's where the gospel thrives the most, is where it's not an ulterior motive, it's just the ultimate motive. And you want to be friends with these people and share and learn ideas and compare, and out of this was just, it really made the trip for us. It would have been great just to smoke the cigars in Ybor. We recommend the place. But at the same time, getting to have that experience of living out the mission of Christian Cigar Smoker, of faith, of fellowship, and of cigars all in one it was humbling, and it was just plain fun. And so we want to say thank you to him and to you guys, and we want to encourage you guys to continue to use the platform of cigars as something to glorify God and as a mission for the kingdom in a way that can just be part of your life, and you can take joy from it, and those around you can take joy from it. And so guys, we hope you really have enjoyed this first episode, and I hope that story is something that's motivational to you guys, and is something that we can walk away from these sorts of situations and know, wow, God provides these opportunities, and there's a deep reason for all that we do. And whether it's our enjoyment of cigars as a form of worship for Him, or the opportunity to build relationships, that's what we're about. And so it's been a joy to be able to to share that at the end of our first episode of the Christian Cigar Smoker podcast. Guys, we hope you continue to tune in. We've got some great things in store in the future, some really cool interviews coming with some names around the cigar community that we think is just going to be a lot of fun. So thank you so much for being a part of this journey with us. And guys, we hope you have a great night and that some of this sticks with you even after the cigar smoke clears. For Christian Cigar Smoker, I'm Pastor Smokey. Thank you so much and have a wonderful time smoking your cigars.
Hey, Efe. What do you think of Cigar Benji?
Well, I can't think of a single thing I have against him. He's a great guy. I mean, he's a great listener, wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. Really, he holds this whole thing together. I mean, that's all I'm saying.